The purpose of this mentoring is to try to help you out also with all the standard documentation that you may need for your startup. So we had an agreement with FounderSuite, which is a very interesting startup we have in Silicon Valley. They are supposed to give us access for at least 6 months of their, they call it pro business, and those are, sorry about that, those are documentation that at least most of the startups should have. The collection of the documents is they are in English, so the idea is that you copy as much as possible. So don't try to be too creative on some of the documents. So into the invitation you have the full collection. It's about 21 megs, so you can download directly and store for you. And they are in nine different categories, and there are also 2 videos that it will be interesting for you to follow, and that is also part of the invitation you have. One is a video from FounderSuite about the kind of overall perspective they see the whole documentation, and the other one, they are a little bit more specific about the docs. So the idea about today is to show you the most interesting docs from my point of view that you may have into your startup. As I told you, all of this documentation, you will find it straight away into the collection. You can ask me, because many of those documentations we've been playing with, but some of them, they are very complicated to deal with, especially the ones dealing with the financial reports and everything, but we can try to solve it for you. And as I told you also, these, okay, I will share the whole screen, so you will have it also for you. Oh wow, this is going too far. It's going to infinite right now. Okay, this is the setting of the FounderSuite. And this is the view that you will get as soon as you apply to be a member of that. That is a dashboard where you will have most of the functionality. I think the dashboard for you is going to be complicated for you to read right now. So the best way will be to go into the deep of the different documents you have and then go into the dashboard. Okay. So those are the documents. They are divided into 9 categories. First is starting up. Maybe you have an idea and you want to validate also if you want to start up a company. So you have a way also of asking people online to give you feedback about this idea. You have also some legalese documents into that. Then about raising capital, investor updates, anytime you need to be talking to your investors, marketing and PR, partners, building an advisory board. And this is something also you need to be thinking, if it makes sense to build an advisory board. Everybody says yes, but an advisory board also is hard to maintain also, because you need to be giving them a lot of information and asking them. And then how to hire employees, planning and modeling, and some legalese document. So starting up. Pre-founding's founders agreement. I think every one of you have heard about this document, maybe because of the first call. It's a very straightforward document about trying to set up the minimum, what we call terms and conditions of a company. So if you want to set up a company with at least 2 people, you will have divide your ownership in different ones. And then this is the most important thing. It's about the clause about being in the company for, we say, between 3 and 4 years. So this is the document that you will sign internally before something goes wrong. It's just a quick one. And all of the investors, they will need this kind of document in this version or a bigger one in order to invest in your company. Because if people jump off board your startup, there will be a big hole into your equity gap, and they don't want that to happen. So I recommend you to sign it internally, and this is especially if you have a relationship with the person you are starting your company with, because things are going to get bad sooner or later. So if you get this straightforward, it's going to be great. Any questions? I mean, this is something you. The equity, yeah. There is another thing about founders equity split wizard. This is quite a quite nice way of putting who owns what in the company. So giving different weight to the idea contribution, to the domain expertise, if he's going to be developing or not. So you can give some weight, and at the end, later on, you will have the founders split also at the end for every single person. So if you want to go into the bits and bytes about how much you're going to be needing, I think that could be a good way of deciding. Happened to me, happened to many people, that you set up a company and then suddenly the one that had the idea jump off board and say, no, I'm sorry, but I am the owner of the idea. But if you have signed that the idea is only valid for 10%, it's great. So maybe he will only get 10% of the thing he owns in the company. So if he owns 50%, 10% of the 50% is only going to be 5%. So bye-bye, that's it. I personally believe that companies is 1% idea, 99% perspiration. So you need to be working a lot. But that will depend on you guys. There are some announcement templates. So if you want to send everybody like news that you're online, you can do it. I mean, you can send to some key guys that you know they're going to be tweeting or blogging about it. So we have some templates also, you guys. I think is very interesting. So some of them, they are from some very famous persons and very famous companies. So it's a nice collection, okay? Another thing is another document that you need to be producing sooner or later, and this is the executive summary. Normally, it's a one-page document where you have something you can give to investors. This is one of the different templates you can use it. I think it's a great idea. You can use some other. If you don't want to start up from scratch, you can use this one. Okay, some business model canvas. I'm sure you've been doing that before. If you don't, and in every subdirectory, we have like a checklist, something that you may think before taking the next step. So this is about getting started. Have you captured the idea? Have you sketched that? Have you got any feedback? Have you chosen a name? Have you chosen the domain? Everything. So for you guys that you have already some traction and everything, it's good to just double check that you did everything you were supposed to be doing. Okay, something about trademark. I don't believe trademark and patents is really important for you guys in the beginning, because that will burn a lot of money for you and a lot of time. So my suggestion is that you do a little bit more into the more advanced of the company, and you do that for protection. So if someone is trying to sue you about using some functionality, you can at least show that you tried to patent that. Okay, there's something about incorporating a business. Most of these things are very American, very oriented to companies that they are set up into Delaware, but they are good to know. This is the same one. Sorry, I don't know what happened with that. Don't save. Yeah, if you need to choose another name, also there are some ways of thinking about the different names and some ideas. Okay. If you set up also the account for you, it will be valid for 6 months. So my advice is either download all the documents and have it under your domain, because otherwise you will lose this connectivity later on. Okay, but we have done that for you. Okay, this is about starting up, raising capital. There is a lot of documents about this. We will get into this during the whole acceleration, but there are some nice pitch deck templates. I think it will be interesting for you to at least have a look into them and to see. This is a nice template about a company that gave it to Founder Suite, and it's very round. And most of the templates normally they are quite square, and it has all the details about the things you need to be talking. It's about the market, the total market, oh well, it's getting frozen. Oh yeah. But how it looks, I think it looks quite professional. So you can either use it or change it. I like the way of doing some traction, if you can do it. And what else? Yeah. And this is very important also. Try to show also investors where you are and what you're heading to. Most of the people, they forget about this. I think it's very important to do it. So it's a nice checklist. Okay, what else? There are some pitching hacks. This is from a company called Venture Hacks. So those are ideas about not doing a stupid thing during the investor decks. I think it's quite nice. It's also is by one of the founders of AngelList, and give you a nice reading also. What else? Okay, sooner or later you're going to be talking to investors, and then you need to be quite okay. You have to know about some terms that they are using, about the term sheet, about preferred stocks, about liquidation things. All of these, you have it here also. You have some explanations, very down to earth, by a company called Fenwick West. So it's not that important that you know by heart these terms, but I think you need to know where to look into, because sooner or later you're going to learn, and it's better that you learn right now than the hard way when you get it. For example, anti-dilution provisions or something like that. People, they're going to be invested in your company, but they don't want to get diluted. That is going to be hurting you, founders. And they want to have it most of the time. Or pay to play. That is, okay, for example, Bolt invest in you, and we don't put a clause about pay to play. That means we're going to get diluted, and our right will go and diminish over the time. But some investors, they will put that, and that will hurt also some other investors. So, okay, those are things at least you need to have in mind. Minimum viable pitch. That is an interesting idea. That is 8 things that you need to be having while you're talking to an investor or someone that could be interested in you. So nice, interesting reading for you. Okay. Another thing that you will be familiar with is the cap table. Cap table shows who owns the company in all the moments of your of the company life. And this is a document that is going to be living. So you're going to be adding new investors, and this cap table will get more and more changing. So my suggestion is you get a good cap table template, and you get familiar with this. There's one that is this one. Okay, you have some inputs. Sorry, I'll be back. And at the end, you will produce some sort of a cap table about founders round, how much money they put, the family and friends first, the Series C, B, and everything, and how much ownership you're giving away. This is not complicated to be familiar with, but you need to know. And this is another one that is a very easy way of doing it. Also, to try to have an idea if you're going to be bought by someone, about how much value, how much money you're going to be making. So that is a very easy way of starting also. We had another one into both. If you don't feel familiar with this, we will be able to give it to you. We've been using. Okay, those are the raising capital, and then the investor update. If you're adding some board members into your team, you need to be giving them a lot of information. You maybe set up like an alarm in your calendar every month to say, "Hi guys, we got some amazing news, and this is." So you need to keep it fresh, and also a good way of showing that you are very good in the way of doing the decision is having a meeting of the board of directors about taking a decision, probably about a strategic decision. So this is a nice way of telling what you decide into that board meeting, and you send it to them. Very quick and simple, but shows a lot of seniority from your side. Okay. This is about how to conduct a board meeting also, and what things you need to be addressing during that call. So those are interesting ideas about updating about their product, about new functionality, about metrics, about financials, staffing, everything. So this is for you guys also interesting for them. Okay. Investor update, marketing. Okay. These are also a collection of something related to marketing and PR. So if you, here I think we have one. Oh yeah, the step-by-step list. Okay, these are things that I think they are quite interesting for you to read if you're going to be using some social marketing channels, and just to double check if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And those are best practices also. Those are from the guys. I mean, if you need to be thinking, if I need to be in LinkedIn, if I need to be doing things on LinkedIn, and how often do I need to give them? This is about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, some blogging, if you're thinking Pinterest, LinkedIn, and then, some Google+, YouTube. I don't know if you're going to be using all these channels again. And what I think is important for you is also to use some programs that allow you to post multi-platform also, in case you don't have time to produce on any other one. Everyone should be doing the social media, especially in the beginning of the startup. That is my advice. The same as selling. Everybody in the company should be selling, from the CEO to the developer. Okay. There are also some interesting Excel sheets about getting into the deeps of the long-term value of and the cost acquisition also of your customers. For you guys, it may seem very complicated sometimes, but I think some of them, it could be used as a tool for you. Okay, another one is partners and competitors. Anytime you're talking to another company, you should be signing some documents. The first thing is a mutual NDA, so non-disclosure agreement. And then some others like non-compete agreement. You're going to be disclosing some information, but you don't want them to use it. And maybe some referral fee agreement. If you're going to be using them as a referral way, and they're going to be getting some either perks, money, or whatever, you have some some documents here. The good thing about having these is that if one investor or one partner force you to produce these documents, you can do it very quickly. Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
May any of the investors have investments in our companies?
Sorry,
Is it possible that some investor interested in our company could have an investment in another company that is our companies?
Yeah, that happens quite often. I mean, we have the most famous company that it was leading both that you may mention. They're going to be getting an investment from one of the main competitor. So that is quite normal.
It's good.
It's all right. I mean, if you're thinking about a merging, maybe it's a great idea because it will push your valuation very high. But it depends on you. I mean, if you're still developing your company, maybe it's not a good idea, or you have something very different to what they got. So I think it will be important for them, for the investor, not to get that much information about what you're doing. I mean, investors and some board members, they don't need to know all the details about what you're doing. So it's up to you to decide how much information you're going to be giving to them. Okay. But and it has already invested in another company like yours, it's a good positive sign. Okay, advisory board. This is a tricky question. As I told you, you need to be giving them something. Normally it's equity. And this is a checklist about building your dream team. This is something you need to be doing some sort of due diligence. What will be the best advisory board for you? And then something that is written here, and I want you to point out, is that you're going to be giving them equity. And also equity that it will be vested. That means that you need to be seeing this guy for X amount of months or years. Otherwise, they will not be entitled to that. And their normal way of giving equity is like that. I mean, it's not, most of the people, they will say, okay, I will give you 10% of my company or 5% of my company. Don't be so generous. I mean, the normal way of giving equity is between 0.25 and 1% of your company. That will be the maximum. If you give more than that, you're giving away too much, especially for advisory board. So that will give you some information to read before getting this advisory board also. Also, yeah, it is important to set your expectations about these guys, how they are going to be getting, helping you guys, okay? There are some good emails form for you about asking people to get on board. It's like, hi, I'm thinking about you, but I'm looking also for some other 2 people, some financial expert and some entrepreneur that is being quite successful. Would you help me out and everything? So this is a good introduction. Okay. Yeah, and these are some offer letters, I mean, for them, if you want to bring them on board. I think they look extremely professional. So this is a good way of showing that you're going to be professional also in the long term. Okay, what else? Yeah, hiring employees. This is a tricky one, but I think it's quite important that you do properly. And so first, you need to be asking the employee that wants to get into your company is a mutual NDA also, non-disclosure. And also, if he's going to be on a consultancy base or if it's going to be part of their company. So if in case you want to have it as a consulting, that will be a way of producing the document that you need. in case that this company, this person is going to be in the company for a long term, my proposal would be to give them some stock options. So part of your equity you need to be putting aside. Normally, it's about 10% of your equity would be put aside to compensate people that they will be the early employees in your company. And then my advice will be also to think about people in the company that they are early in the company. They make the company big, and they are the key to your success. So don't try to be generous for them in terms of equity. I'm not talking about the founders of the company, of course. That will be one way. But hiring employees, you should give them some stock options, because that will be the key. But also bear in mind that those are supposed to be subject to vesting, because you want to see this person also for at least 4 years. Okay, employment agreement. If you're going to be getting some very senior person like the CTO, you have some, or a CFO or a CMO or something like that. You want to look professional in front of them. So those are the agreements that you can reuse. What else? Planning and modeling. And here is where you will get some of the very, okay, open and repair. There's something going on. Don't save. Oh. They are quite interesting spreadsheets about your financial documents that you need into your company. So this is about customer acquisition and funnel analysis. If you don't have it, you need to be thinking about having very early within your company. If you're thinking about getting most of the money through advertising, there is some advertising model also. Oh, there's something going on with my Excel. Okay, great. I've been using only one of those, but I think it will be interesting for you also to have a look. This is a way of modulating. I think you guys, for example, you have quite an amazing tool at the background. I don't know if you develop yourself or this is something you.
It's from PwC experience.
Oh yeah, okay, that would be great. If you think we can share also some others and show to them, it's going to be great, because that is part of the. But it will depend on their business model too. Okay, what else? Corporate and legalese. And those are most of the best practice from Y Combinator, from Techstars, about the terms and conditions that the investors put on you when you have a Series A and all the terms and conditions. Okay. Regarding these, we'll have at least 2 sessions. One coming from Jorge Cuello, which is a guy that was working for Deloitte here. Now he started into another company. He's going to be giving a speech on the 6th of October about terms and conditions in at least Spain and maybe a little bit about Europe. And then we'll have another company called Montero Aramburu, where we have also an agreement with. And we're planning to have at least 3 sessions with them. And those are, legal things, and they are very tricky. And they can help us out also to decide on some terms that you may be having. Those are standard terms, and those maybe most of the time they apply to companies in Delaware. Okay, so quite specific to American companies.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, and about hiring another employees.
Yeah.
All the documents are also based on Delaware law.
No, not really. I mean, I think those documents, they are quite broad. Yeah, and you, I mean, most of the documentation is to protect you or the person about copyright infringements or this person going and setting up another company. That happened here. And I have at least 2 companies that they decided to jump off board and set up a company that was doing exactly the same thing they were doing before. So if you sign those documents on time, at least you have something to prove and to go against. You have a checklist also about the hiring early employees that I think is interesting for you. So I think that was it. Into the there are 2 videos that we put into this for giving you a more insight about using the tool. Those are from FounderSuite. We'll give you. This is the Startup Doc collection, and I don't think they will go into the deep depths and that we've been going to. And there is another one that is the welcome video version 3. But I don't find it here, but we'll see there. But yeah, FounderSuite would allow you also to have a tool to get in contact with your investors, with people that they are giving you exposure to media, and a way also of getting polls. So, for example, if you have an idea about setting a company and you want to have a poll, they will give you a set of tools to talk to people and then produce polls about it. And that is into a video. I'm not going to be playing that because it's a 6-minute video. I mean, you can do it later on. But I think, to be honest with you, I think this is a very interesting tool for you guys. So that was it. That was what we had it in mind. It's all in English, and we will be producing also some other documents, and we will give you some other documents that they are Spanish specific. When you're talking a shareholder agreement, we'll give you also a shareholder agreement based into the Spanish way of working. Why? Because every country have its specific terms and conditions. So, for example, in Spain, when you give away shares, everybody will have the shares. So you are not able to get it back if this person jumps off board. So we will protect you via these shareholder agreement terms and conditions. Most of the people forget about it, and then they will have a situation. So we'll give it, and that will be Jorge Cuella, Montero Aramburu, and we have some others from Deloitte also from the previous batches. So we will share that with you. Okay, I think that was it. What we wanted to give you an insight. Any questions about these documents? I can help you out in case you don't understand anything. If I can, I mean, if I don't, we can ask Nathan. Nathan is the CEO and founder of FounderSuite, and he's very reliable. Also, if we have any question, he will be able to give us to you.
Let's say we make it to signing day. Before we really sign it, can you provide some advice then as a final?
We will do it through our legal partners. I mean, okay. Yeah. So if you have specific questions, I think you may have it. You also may have specific questions about things. We can address it, and we can forward to them and get some advice quickly. In case you have it, I mean, we can start reducing that before they come here. So maybe we will get a response from them.
Yeah.
Okay. More questions? I mean, these documents, and for me, I think it is a lot of money. If you go to, for example, to Techstars, they have an agreement with companies like Hooli. They are very good advising company, but they will charge you, I don't know, between $3,000 and $6,000 for those. documents. The way they do is that they will not charge you straight away. They will charge you in case you raise money. But that will be also another way of getting help from them. We can close an agreement also with Montero Aramburu in those terms. I think you need to be thinking carefully about if you need them into the long run or not, because that is a cost that is maybe is sometimes for you, you will look at like a very high, but for some of the companies, I have a feedback on them, and they will say that they save a lot of money from them. For example, if you start up a company in Delaware and you don't go directly into tax authorities with a specific blanket about it, they will have like preference stocks over you, and that will cost you a fortune in the long term. Those tricks, I think, they need to be given by people that they are on site, especially into the US. But okay, we will try to help you out with that. Also, I would like to try to get the insight from people that they were in Techstars in this last batch, especially from a team from the Portuguese team that they were there and they set up the company in Portugal and then moved into Delaware. So I want them to interact with you guys about how they did it and why they did it, and also some terms and conditions that you may have in mind also in case you're going to be moving there. Okay, I don't promise, but they told me that they will be willing to help you. Okay, so that was it. If you have any other questions, let me know.